So much more production that I want to do on today's episode. Like, I just ran out of time, man. I just ran out of time. There is so much more production. Like, we are in this incredible series, and it's so nostalgic. It brings back lots of memories and so on and so forth. And so I just want to build and build and build and build and build. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that don't know, my name is Glenn Lundy, husband to one, father to nine. I'm the host of a daily morning show right here called hashtag Rise and Grind, where we come together at 5:30 a.m. for motivation, education, and inspiration. And every morning I wake up. This morning woke up 3:50 a.m. I go through a morning routine that I have, a little process that I have, and then I write this show. And after I write the show, then I go find a good place, whether it be my studio or right now I'm in a hotel, and I go find a place where I'm gonna go live and do the show at 5:30 a.m. And then I sit down. Once I find a location and get set up, then I sit down and I start building the show, right? So I use this thing called Wirecast. Wirecast is what I build the show in, and I build the show. And once I build the show, like, I can add in pictures, I can add in little video clips, I can add in all these different things, right? And so it's almost like creating a video PowerPoint, if you think about it that way, right? Where each frame kind of tells a different part of the story and adds some optics to what we're talking about so that you have bigger impact. And we can add music, and we can add lyrics, and we can add picture in picture, and we can add titles, and we can add all these things. So I'm fully editing, basically. I'm fully editing the show, like, right before I go live with the show. And this is an awesome process. I've been doing it for years. I would venture to say I'm probably one of the best in the world at putting together clips, B-rolls, audios, so on and so forth. Probably one of the best in the world to do it in short amount of time and go live. The problem with this process, though, here's the problem with the process. The problem with the process is sometimes I get so stuck. I'm like building, and then I look down and it's just like the time has gone by like that, and it's time to go live. But there's so much more I want to build, like so much more. There's so many layers of music I wanted to put into today. There's so many different images and iconic shots that I wanted to include in today. And instead, we had to, we get what we get, which we have a decent production today. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, there's like 25 slides or something. But this particular show could have like 200, and it would be epic. All right. Okay, here we go. Anyways, we should probably get to the show.
Rise and Grind, the #1 morning show in the world, filled with motivation, education, and inspiration. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to one, father to 8, and the founder of the 800% Club, the club designed to help you unlock your full potential. Each episode is filled with celebrity interviews, inspiring conversations, and the strategies you need to get ahead in your career and your life. So grab your pen and turn up the volume, because it's time to rise and grind.
Hey, good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Wednesday. That's right, today is Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Today is also CMA Day. That's right, Carter Myers Automotive Group, the most amazing automotive group in the United States of America. If you've ever thought about changing industries, if you ever thought about working for an amazing organization where you get to be a part owner, you need to go to CMA. They're absolutely incredible. Today is also, count them down, boom, 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 boom. Today is 3 days, 18th, 19th, 20th. That's right. Today is 3 days from my 48th birthday. Super excited. Doesn't matter to you, but it does matter to me. Today is also 8 days from Christmas. Now that one probably matters to you. 8 days. We are 8 days away from Christmas. We are 15 days away from 2026, if you can believe it. We are 15 days away from 2026. It is right around the corner. And we are 733 days. This number doesn't really matter to you either, but we're 733 days from my 50th birthday. And on my 50th birthday, I made a promise to my wife that I need to deliver on, and that day is coming. I count down every single day. It's wild. Now, I am coming to you live. Mary Lynn Wilkin, you're not even good. You're like, what? I'm coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. That's right. I am coming to you, actually, technically, I'm in Brandon, Florida, but close enough. I am coming to you live from Tampa, Florida, where I flew in last night. Booked a flight yesterday, 2 nights ago. Booked a flight 2 nights ago, flew in last night so that I could come see my friend, Mr. Alex Flores. This is a guy who, at the midway point in his life, he decided to pack up his family. He sold what was a dream of his. His whole life, he had dreamed of being a car dealer. This guy, Alex Flores, had gone from sales to sales manager to general sales manager. He became a GM at multiple dealerships across the country. Ultimately, he became a car dealer. He was a part owner of 6 different dealerships in the Texas area. And just recently, he sold all of his shares. And after living in Austin, Texas for 30 plus years, since he was young, he packed up his family, he packed up his wife, he packed up his kids, and he moved to Florida to start this new journey at Furman Chevrolet here in Tampa. And so yesterday was his first day on the job, and Alex is a dear friend of mine, and I just wanted to come and give him a big old hug, because you know how that first day can be scary, especially when you take a big leap. And so I wanted to come and just give him a big hug and say, hey buddy, I love you. I support you. I believe in you. I'm here for you. So on and so forth, right? So I came so that I could see Alex. I also came out here so that I'm in Tampa, Florida. I also came out here so that I could see Brad Wise. Now, Brad Wise, for those of you that don't know, he is the general manager at Furman Chevrolet in Tampa, Florida. And this is a guy who was from Michigan. And in Michigan, he had built a career, made a name for himself. He was very well known in Michigan. He was very successful in Michigan. And at a midway kind of point in his life, actually maybe a little bit earlier for him, when he was it wasn't quite at the midway point in his life, but a little bit into his 30s, I would say, he decided to pack up his family, pack up his wife, pack up his kids, and he decided to move to Tampa, Florida. He took a bet on himself. Brad Wise took a bet on himself, went from his comfortable zone, went from where he grew up, went from where he knew everything, and he bet on himself, and he moved to Tampa, Florida, so that he could be the general manager at Furman Chevrolet, where I will be today. And he's had massive success, right? So I was like, man, I got to come down. It's Alex's first day. These two guys are going to be working together. They're both really dear friends of mine. So I booked a flight. I came down. I surprised Alex last night. Brad, I will see today. But I just had to come down and wish these guys luck as they start this whole new journey together, right? Now, what's also cool is while I'm down here, I also get to see a guy named Michael Kerrigan. So Michael Kerrigan worked with my wife in Paris, Kentucky at a place called Jerry's. He worked at Jerry's restaurant, and he was like the manager of the floor or whatever. And he worked up there. And Michael, at some point, he came and joined me over at Dan Cummins. I hired him at Dan Cummins Chevrolet in Buick in Paris, Kentucky. I hired Michael, and he started as a salesperson. Then he worked his way up through all the different roles, became a sales manager, and then at one point later in life, he decided to leave there. And when I left there, him and I came together. Me and Michael came together, and we started working together on this thing called Rise and Grind that you might know. And we started kind of working together on what that community looked like. And he was the one who brought the idea of having planners, of having Morning 5 planners. Michael brought that idea to the table, and if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have planners that have transformed the world, which if you haven't gotten yours, make sure you go get one. If you haven't gotten any for your teams, get some for your teams. But I'll also get to see Michael because he decided 2 years ago, he decided to pack up his family and move to Tampa, Florida. He decided to come down here, and he met up with Brad Wise, and him and I did a deal, and he's been working as a member of 800% Club, as a member of my team, working for me. What's that? Can you all hear? Yeah, they should be able to hear. Working for me, he's been down working in Furman Chevrolet down here in Tampa. He brought his twins down here, brought his wife down here, so on and so forth. And it's just fascinating because Michael took a bet on himself in his 20s and made the move to Tampa, Florida. So I'll get to see him today as well. Last but not least, well, I'll get to see other people too, but I'm really excited. I get to see my friend Laura. So Laura's from down here in Tampa, Florida. But she started in detail. She was getting ready to join the military. And before she joined the military, she thought, you know what, I'm going to take a shot on doing something a little bit different. And I'm going to try this. She was detailing cars, and she was like, I'm going to try to sell some cars real quick and just see how that goes. And so she started selling cars for a little bit, and then she thought, oh my gosh, I'm making pretty good money on this military thing. Maybe I'll do it a little bit later, but I'm going to sell cars for about 6 months. Well, fast forward, she's now the top sales manager at Furman Chevrolet. She's been there for about a decade or so, and she's such an amazing, incredible human. And I'm super excited to see her today. I'll see her, and I'll see many others, right? And see, I'm always inspired by this area. I'm always inspired by Tampa. I'm always inspired by Furman Chevrolet and the success that it's had. I'm just always inspired in this environment. Like, A, because of the business success and the people, but B, because of this thing called the ocean. Like, ever since I first experienced the ocean as I was turning into an adult, right? I never saw the ocean until first time I saw the ocean, I was 19 years old. I was 19 years old, first time I ever saw the ocean, and I was inspired by it immediately, and I continue to be inspired by it. But ever since I first experienced that ocean and the journey into my 20s began, ever since then, these types of environments inspire me. And so this week, there's this series that we're in. We're in a series called Cheers to Almost 50 Years. And Monday, we went into the first 10, right? Which for me, the first 10 years was 77 to 87. And we kind of broke down that decade. And then yesterday, we went into the second 10, right? Which would be 87 to 97. And we kind of took a walk down memory lane as we talked about the movies and the icons and the music and all of the things from the 80s. Well, today, are from the 80s/90s, right? Well, today we're going to go to that next step, which is we went from little babies to teenagers, the awkward years. Now we're working our way into early adulthood, the early 20s. And so we're going to continue that series this week right here from Tampa, Florida. But before we do, you know what we got to do on the show. Let's go. For those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button. Because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you, yes, you, to hit that share button. Dude, I love that I can walk around and you guys can hear. I love the mic. I love being able to like, it's such a different vibe. Like, this show has got to get to a point where I can stand and I can walk, and I can do monologues like the Tonight Show, but during the morning with no news. You know what I'm saying? We've got to get to that point. But hey, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. Kat Perez, good morning. Thanks for being here. Don Sankey's in the building. How you doing, Don Sankey? Thank you for being here. Can you guys hear me loud enough over the music? Hopefully you can. Marilyn Wilkins in the building. Trisha Rue is in the building. Sonia Merritt, good morning, good morning. Denny Ross, good morning. Tanya Colquhoun, thanks for being here. Rich Pintrick is in the building as well. Robin Welshans is in the building. Malika Carey is in the building. Shout out to my friend Heather Parody. Shout out to, Richard Pintrick's on here right now. Shout out to Robert Migliaccio. He's usually watching a little bit later. Shout out to Kathy Camacho. Thanks for always watching my show. Shout out to my mom. Thanks, Mom. Everything's great. I love you. Good morning. Yeah, she is bad to the bone, dude. Laura is bad to the bone. Good morning, Alexandria Nicole. Thanks for being here. I already said hi to Danny. Kimberly Hatfield, thanks for being in the building. Maria Lid, thank you for being here this morning. Tony Thorstad, thanks for being here. Mike Rendine, good morning. Thanks for being here. Miss Liza Myers, Borges out there moving, shaking, and dancing. Thanks for being here this morning. I greatly appreciate it. Angela Hastings is in the building. Thank you so much for being here. I love it. 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 Yeah, I am flying back out today. But I just had to come see these guys, man. What a powerful day it's going to be. So it's a quick turnaround. I'm not even in Tampa for a full 24 hours, just flipping it back, but had to do it. So thanks for joining me this morning. Pastor Jeff, 50 is great. I agree. Scott Simons is in the building. What's up, Scott? Great interview on the Car Dealership Guy podcast. I listened to that interview as I was traveling down here yesterday. And great interview, man. Very inspiring. Cheering for you. Cheering for you always, man. Hope everything goes great. All right, cool. On that note, let's make our way as we are cheers to nearly 50 years.
This is here what felt like to be American teenager in 2000's.
It was a great time in many, many ways. It was an amazing season of life. It was also the most challenging season of my life by far. And that's saying a lot. You're talking about a guy who's got, 9 kids, lived in 17 different states, been to jail many a times. But this season was definitely the most challenging for me. As we make our way to the early 2000s, this is a decade for me. This was a decade of pressure. This was a decade of mistakes. I had some ambition, but I also had a lot of temptation. I had love, I had loss, I had a lot of hard lessons. And this was a decade where a lot of people quit on themselves, but it was also a decade where like leaders were forged. Like this is the decade that the internet went mainstream, right? 2000's, from 97 to 2007. This is when the internet went mainstream, which was kind of wild considering, I was 20 years old at the time. So my 20s, from 20 to 30, here I am just figuring out what it means to be an adult. And all of a sudden we've got this internet thing. It reminds me, not reminds me, but it kind of makes me think of kids today that are in that 20s to 30s that are in this crazy world of social media and everything that they have access to and so on and so forth. Like to me, there's no surprise that depression is at the heights that it is, that anxiety is at the height that it is, so on and so forth, because we gave all these kids this weapon of mass destruction early. And I think if you go back even further, the first wave of that was with the internet and guys like me and you and women like me, and not me, but like you know what I'm trying to say? Guys and girls like me and you. That's what I'm trying to say, right? But this was the time of the internet, man. The internet just like transforming everything. This is when the dot-com boom exploded. Like there was no such thing as a so-and-so and so-and-so.com, not in the mainstream anyway, prior to this particular season. Could like just think for a minute, life without dot-coms. Like, right now AI is the trending word, right? Like AI. And like 3 years ago, no one even like used the words AI. That's how it was with .com. No one had ever we didn't even know what .com was. Like, it was crazy, man. This was also the season that everybody thought that Y2K was going to end the world. For any of you that were alive like me at that time, that was a for real threat. Just like right now, a lot of people think AI is going to end the world. Y2K was the threat. They were like, boom, the systems are messed up. As soon as it hits year 2000, it's not prepared for it. The whole grid's going down. We're all gonna die. And we sat on pins and needles, bro. On pins and needles. December 31st, 1999. Waiting for that clock to tick. And then it was like, clock would tick and you're like, oh, well, maybe they meant midnight in a different time zone. And so you like wake up the next morning and nobody's dead and you're like, holy cow. It was crazy, man. I remember that so clearly. This is the same time that people had pagers on their hips, and if you don't know what a pager is, this is before cell phones, but people had pagers on their hips and cell phones were starting to land on people's hips. They were just kind of starting to come out. Think about your life right now if all you had was a landline. Think about it. If no one could get a hold of you the minute you walked out the door. Think about it. Think about what your life would be like if you were not accessible, if you were not available. And also think about the opportunities you would not be able to tap into if you were not available and you were not accessible. But man, it was a different time. This is a time that email started to replace actual handwritten letters. Prior to this, the only way that you could, if you wanted to write somebody a note, bro, you had to take out a pen, take out a piece of paper, It's not like early 1900s with a feather and ink, but you had to take out a pen, you had to take out a piece of paper, and you had to take the time and actually write somebody a letter. You couldn't just type it. You couldn't let it auto-correct it. You couldn't let it AI generate it. Like, you actually had to manually do the thing. It's wild, man. This is also the time that Google launched. Google was a new thing. Holy, like, what? I can actually search and get answers. Kind of feels and reminds me of what we do with ChatGPT. We're like, what? I can talk to it. It gives me answers, right? Very, 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 very crazy. Amazon at this time, Amazon actually sold books. And that was it. Nothing else. Amazon sold books. and nothing else. Now look at it, man. It's crazy. There's nothing you can't buy on Amazon, right? And then, in the midst of all of this, 9/11 happened. And overnight, America changed. Literally overnight. Those of you that were alive, everybody remembers where they were on 9/11. There's a reason that we all remember where we were on 9/11. It was an incredibly pivotal, transformative time where everything changed. Innocence was lost. Security, like things felt fragile. Like we used to feel really, really safe in America, like nothing could ever happen. But all of a sudden that got really, really fragile. And fear entered the room, became a thing. And what I find really interesting, and this is why I wish I had time to like build out a huge thing, right? Like we're already down to, I've got 3 minutes left in the show. I wish I had time to build out a huge thing. It's so fascinating to me because when I look at this particular season, I see it happening again right now. 9/11 completely transformed everything. What happened in the last couple of years that completely transformed everything that we never thought in a million years could happen, that traumatized every single individual on this planet from age 5 to age 105. Interesting, right? 9/11 was just an America thing. This COVID pandemic was a global thing. But it's so interesting when you look back and the similarities between AI and where we are today and so on and so forth, and the internet and where we were in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's wild. But 9/11 happened and everything in this country changed. And what I find really interesting about that is during those uncertain times, people revealed who they really were, including myself. And that's what happens during uncertain times, right? Uncertainty reveals who you really are. It shows your character. Who are you when things get shaken up? Who are you when things get mixed up? Who are you when this perfect, pretty image of life and the world around you gets shattered? Who are you when somebody does you wrong? Who are you when you thought you were going left and you end up going right? Uncertainty reveals who you really are. And that was what was really interesting about this time. You see, crisis doesn't create character. Ultimately, it exposes it. And at that time in America, we got exposed. And at that time in America, I got exposed. Clothing wise, this was the era of oversized jerseys. This is when people started wearing jerseys even though you weren't at the game. This was the era of oversized jerseys. This was the era of the white tees. This was the era of the baggy jeans dragging on the ground. This was the era of Timberlands. This was the era of jerseys were your identity. This was the era of your image equaled your status. You see, back during this season, back during this time, we were trying to look like we had it all together, even when we didn't. Me, extreme example of that. On the surface, people thought I had it together. I was dressing the part, I was making the money, I was working in a dealership, I was doing all of those things. I had the kid and so on and so forth, right? I had the girl, I had the kid. We were all, I think, during this season, we were all dressing the part while at the same time, like, what in the heck is going on in the world? I have all this access to information. All of a sudden, the comparison, I'm comparing myself to other people and their success. I've got this platform. I've got this like MySpace thing. I can see other people. Like, it was just a crazy season, bro, for me, especially being in my 20s, not understanding my identity. And I think it was a crazy season for a lot of people because there were a lot of things just kind of going on in the world on top of everything else. Does that make sense? You see, the lesson we can kind of take away from that is when your identity is shaky, which mine really was, your image gets louder. Let me say that again. When your identity is shaky, your image gets louder. So you try to put on some sort of a front. And a lot of people, especially myself, we were trying to like outrun insecurity that had come from this 9/11 thing, insecurity that had come from this new comparison thing, insecurity that had come from this .com kind of bubble thing, like insecurity that had come from huge companies like Google and Amazon now all of a sudden, you know, becoming these massive, ridiculous companies, right? And you're like looking comparison-wise going, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? I think a lot of people, myself included, were trying to outrun insecurity with appearance. It's like, hey, if I can just look like I've got it all together, then I'll have it all together. So we started carrying around our Nokia phones. Do you guys remember the Nokia phones? Nokia phones, dude, you could throw a Nokia phone, you could throw it like 2 miles, let that thing bounce on the ground. It would not break, bro. Nokia phones would not break. Phones today, bro, you hit it on the corner, boom, you're shattered. Nokia phone, drop that thing off a 50-story building. It wasn't breaking. This was a time when texting started to replace talking. We used to only talk to each other, especially on a landline. You had to be at the house. Now all of a sudden we start texting each other. AOL Instant Messenger replaced actually hanging out with people. MySpace taught us like personal branding before we even knew what that was. Napster, do you guys remember Napster? Napster disrupted music for everyone. Napster was crazy, bro. Like every new tool that came out was changing our habits, but it wasn't always for the better. You see, this was a decade that taught us that convenience without discipline leads to distraction. And that's a lesson that still applies today. I see it all over the place. Convenience without discipline leads to distraction. It's convenient to be able to scroll through my phone. It's convenient to have access to information. It's convenient to be able to order my food, have it delivered to the house. It's convenient to have my groceries delivered. It's convenient to shoot a quick little email. It's convenient to shoot a quick little text. It's convenient. Every new tool has changed our habits again in this season, just like it did back then. And we need to be reminded, dude, convenience without discipline only leads to distraction. So listen, I know I'm way over on time and maybe I should wait till tomorrow to kind of finish this up because this is some really important stuff. So maybe we turn this into a 2-day. But I just want to be honest, this decade, 97 to 2007, this was a tough decade for me. And I know it was a tough decade for a lot of people. Like I was searching for identity. I was chasing success. I was looking to belong. I was trying to prove myself to the world, to the others, like to the world, to other people. And I was trying to prove something to myself, man. I really was. And in that search and in that season, I made a lot of mistakes. I made really bad decisions. I had the wrong influences. I was around the wrong people. I was always constantly like just seeking short-term pleasure, right? If it looked good and it felt good, the answer was yes. Didn't matter if it was good or not. If it looked good and it felt good, the answer was yes. And I learned things the hard way. Everybody used to look at me and say, hey, Glenn, you have so much potential. But what I didn't have was discipline. Because I was in this world of just like, holy crap, right? And here's what I say to that. Potential without discipline becomes destruction. This season for me, this was a season that showed me what happens when your talent, like I was very talented, but my talent was faster, like it was ahead of my character. Make sense? And when talent gets ahead of character, it becomes a snowball, man. It's very, 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 very destructive. So listen, we could get into, and I'm not going to today, but I mean, this was a season where like Eminem, like you could just tell our music really reflected the mood, right? Eminem was raw, angry, honest. 50 Cent was talking about survival and ambition. Usher, heartbreak and growth. Linkin Park was talking about, chaos and all that stuff. Jay-Z was always talking about legacy and elevating. Like music wasn't entertainment during this particular season. Like music was therapy. The season before, the music was just entertainment. It was fun. Michael and Whitney and all that good stuff. But dude, it got like dark. You know what I'm saying? It was a dark season. It was a dark season. It's just a reminder, like us consuming all of that is how we cope with things, but it also continues to shape our sentiment about those things. Make sense? Like we were all just deep in an interesting pit. So listen, let me finish this up. All right. For me, this season ended up being a wake-up call, right? Some people find a wake-up call without hitting rock bottom. I had to hit rock bottom. And this decade like woke me up hard. It taught me that just because I have freedom and a little bit of money, if there's not boundaries on this thing called life, like if you're not thinking if it looks good and it feels good and it is good, dude, it's not really free at all. Like freedom without boundaries isn't freedom. Think about that. Success without integrity is not success. These things that we were feeling, experiencing, just ignoring them, when you ignore the pain, it just multiplies. I feel like that entire season of my life, it just multiplied bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But the biggest lesson, and the reason this is important, and I know this is supposed to be a motivational show and it's a little bit darker today, but listen, I just want you all to know that you're never too far gone to be able to turn it around. Like 17 years ago, if you would have talked to me at that particular season, I would have been like, bro, I've made too many mistakes. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. But that's not the case. And so it's interesting because I'm down here in Tampa, Florida, and I see Alex and I see Brad and I see Michael and I see all these people that at some point they just decided, hey, man, where I'm at is not where I'm trying to go. And I have more potential and there's things that I want to reach and things that I want to achieve. And we're in this particular season, right? And it's interesting because this decade, 97 to 2007, it tested everything I thought I knew about myself. But what's interesting is the good news is the tests that test us the most doesn't mean that that's the end, right? Like Alex is going through, he just sold all his businesses. He just moved his family to Florida. For some people, you would think that was the end, but no, it's actually the beginning for him. This is a starting line. He's never done this before. He's never lived in Florida. He's never lived by an ocean. He's never lived on a beach. He's never been the age that he is, with the wife that he has, with the kids that he has, in the role that he's in. You feel me? Like it felt like the end to me. That decade, 97 to 2007, felt like the end, but it wasn't even close to the starting line of all the amazing things. And the same is true for you. You might feel like this is the end. And I'm just here to tell you, dude, as soon as that sun comes up, this is the beginning. Things might feel dark. Things might feel scary. The AI stuff might weird you out. The comparison, the anxiety, the depression, all of those things. And I'm just here to tell you, like, yo, this is not the end. It's not. You see, tomorrow we're going to start talking about 2007 through 2017, right? This was a decade of rebuilding, a decade of leadership, family, faith, responsibility, redemption. Like for me, it was the comeback decade, right? And so if you are feeling behind or broken or off course, then tomorrow's episode will have all that you need. We'll have all the joy and the light and all that good stuff that you need. But listen, we can't get to where we're going without going through these things that ultimately shape who we are. These seasons of child to teenager to young adult, these seasons have intention and purpose. You just can't see them while you're in them. And the season that we're in right now, cheers to almost 50 years for those of you that are around the same age as me, the season that we're in right now, the same is true for it as it was for the first 10. And the second 10, and the third 10, and the fourth 10, and the same will be true for the sixth 10, and the seventh 10, and the eighth 10, and the ninth 10. You feel me? Because you, my friend, are a child of God, the God of the universe. You're not a child of this earth. You are a child of God. And that God wants you to be the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Not an average version, not a little bit below average, not a little bit above, but the absolute best. So you woke up today. Congratulations. You have hit the starting line. Congratulations. Move forward, make an impact, jump on a plane, visit a friend, celebrate the moments. It's so crucially important. We have disconnected with all of the tools. Take the chance today, bring it in. Hug it out here, come on, let's hug. I absolutely stinking love you, all right? All right, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have an incredible day. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. Hashtag Rise and Grind. Peace.
Let's go. It's 5:30.